Welcome to Bumavation. My name is Nolutando Chabalala, also known as the Advocate of Self-Love. This is the very first episode of season 2, and it is going to be a power episode. So please make sure you tell your friend, tell your mom, tell your sister, even tell your ex to subscribe so they can be a better person. As usual, I have a dynamic guest. Her name is Margaret Hirsch. She is an avid businesswoman. She is stylish. She is fun. She's on social media. She hails from Zimbabwe, married in South Africa, and hopes to retire in Tanzania. She's here as the former executive director of Hirsch's chain stores, but she's still involved in the business. You know what? Let me allow her to introduce herself. Margaret, thank you so much for being part of the Bumavation podcast, and welcome.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on the show. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. And I know we spoke from like last year. You're a busy woman. And the reason I truly wanted to have you on the show, it is because the Bumavation podcast, which is a mix, a collaboration of beauty and motivation, is really to teach the audience that one, beauty comes from the inside out, and two, anything is possible with the right mindset.
Absolutely.
And you totally have that mindset, you know? I mean, from humble beginnings. You hail from Zimbabwe. You then married in South Africa to your better half. But can you take us through, your come up and everything that you went through for you to be the Margaret that you are today?
Well, it goes back a long time, right back to Zimbabwe, where I was born. My parents were South Africans who went up there to make money. In those days, you did. And then when my father got ill, my mother realized she had to come back to South Africa, so she did. And my father died when I was 10. And that changed my life completely. And I think for all the people out there who were brought up without a father, I always said, at least you've got your heavenly Father who looks after you every minute of every day. So it's very comforting to know that. So I grew up without a father, but I grew up with a very strong mother. But she was thrown into a world that she really couldn't cope with. And I think a lot of women, that happens to them. For one reason or another, they land up in a world that they never thought they'd be in with children, and they have to cope. And that's why I work with women empowerment so much. And I help to empower women to be the best that they can be, and to know that they don't need a man to lean on. And I say that advisedly. I've been married to my husband for 53 years. Can you believe it? But I've never lent on him. I've always been the strong one. I've always been the one who's handled the finances. I've always been the one who's to help to make the best decisions. And I think that with women today, they've got to realize that they are it, and you have to take over and be the person that you always thought you'd have a knight in shining armor coming in to look after you. Not going to happen. You have to be that person. And I think when women understand that, I often start my stories with a joke, and the joke is, what's the difference between a clever man and a stupid man? And the answer is there's no difference. They'll both tell you how fantastic they are. They're wonderful. They're amazing.
Yes.
But if you ask, and then the next question is, what's the difference between a clever woman and a stupid woman? And the answer is there's no difference. They both doubt themselves.
Wow.
And women of the world, and when you out there, once we stop doubting ourselves and have the confidence to know that we can do anything, we can be anyone, and we can have anything that we want if we just work. And that's the 4-letter word that separates the men from the boys, or the girls from the women, is work. You have to realize in this life, you have to work every single day.
Yes.
I'm 75 years old. I started work when I was 12, washing hair in a hairdressing salon. And I've worked every day since. I've had 3 days off in my life. I had the day I had my son, the day I had my daughter, and the day I had my hysterectomy, which was probably the best day of my life. That was gone. And I want to tell you, apart from that, I worked every day. And I've loved it. And that's why I can, still at 75, work a 20-hour day, 7 days a week, because I love what I do. And I think that's the big crunch. You've got to love what you do. And if you love what you're doing, and I love it, I work with people, mostly women, and I help them to be the best person that they can possibly be. Because I say to the women out there, if you could have done more, been a bit better in your life than you have, could you have? And the answer is, of course. But what stopped you? And what stopped you is fear. And once you get over the fear of knowing that whatever you want to do, you can do, always think of something if you want to do it. If I could do this and not fail, would I still go ahead?
Yes.
And then just go ahead, because you actually could. And I think that's, if we can get women to be stronger and to take care of themselves, their children. And how do you do that? You do that by working hard. You become financially independent. And my goal is to make every woman, but especially African women, financially independent. Because if you're an independent woman, you can make your own choices. You have a choice where you live, what car you drive, where your children go to school, and you don't have to answer to anybody.
This is, I hope you actually can see why I really wanted to have Margaret. I mean, she is just spitting those gems, spitting those nuggets, and it all boils down to mainly so many principles that you mentioned. In line with the topic for this series, the topic for this series is the fire within to pursue your success. You have that fire, Margaret, no doubt.
Yes.
Is it something that you cultivated, or do you think you were born with it? And I ask this question mainly because some people think they don't have the fire, yet they do, but they don't recognize it.
That's it.
And then some people cultivate it. For you, what was it? Did you cultivate it?
We're all born equal, and I cultivated it. I realized when I was about 12 years old, we were really poor. My father had died. We lived in the back room of somebody else's house.
Yes.
And I just looked at all the rich people around there and thought, wow, if they've got it, why haven't I? And what do I need to do to go about it? And I thought, well, I'm going to watch what they do and do what they do. The first thing they did is they studied hard at school. So I studied really hard at school, and I passed really well, but we were poor, so I couldn't go to university. But I always had the dream of going to university. It took me another 50 years to get to there. But I did. I went to university, I got my degree, I did my honors, and I got my MBA when I was 70.
Wow.
So it's never too late, girls. It's never too late. You can always do what you need to do.
Yes.
And I always had the drive to be better than I was, to have more than I had. I bought my first house, and then I bought my second house. I bought my first house by saving 100 Rand a month to put a deposit down on a house, which I bought, and then I paid it off as quick as I could. Then I bought another one, a better one, and I paid that off. And so I did. And today I have over R1 billion worth of property in my name, and it all started with saving that 100 Rand a month. So girls, if you don't save already, you need to start saving just 100 Rand a month. And then you've got to learn to invest, because you need to invest that money, because you invest when you've only got a little. Don't go wait until you've got a lot and you invest it wrongly, you lose it all, because it's going to take you a long time to make it.
Yes.
The other thing I say to all women is you all want to be rich overnight. It doesn't work. There's only one way to become rich, is to work long and hard and put that money away. I always tell people, God gives you a little bit of money and he sees how you handle it.
Yes.
If you handle it well, he gives you more. If you waste it, he doesn't give you no more.
He takes it away. Yeah,
He doesn't give you no more. And then you say, well, why haven't I got any money? Well, he gave you a little bit and you didn't look after it. So in life, God teaches you to look after your money a little bit at a time, build it up, and for every 100 Rand you earn, you've got to save 10 Rand, you've got to invest 10 Rand, and you've got to give 10 Rand to charity, somebody who is worse off than you. Now you might say to me, Margaret, I can't afford to give 10 Rand away. I haven't got enough for myself. Well, I say, by opening yourself up to give, you open yourself up to receive.
I love that. I love that. And I always say to you at home, if you do not take away these principles of success, these nuggets, I'm taking it for myself. And in 20 years' time, no one should ask me, how did you do it? Because I listened to my guests. Now, if we go to the organization Hirsch's, right, which you co-founded and are still very much involved, even though you're no longer the executive director, you have built a culture around the Hirsch's brand. And it is evident because I can say I've been there a couple of times, you know, from the cleanliness to the look of the stores and everything. How did you impart that culture? How did you instill it? Because it's quite evident. It comes from you, I think.
Well, first of all, I love fashion. You know, growing up poor, I never had clothes.
Yes.
And as a child, I didn't even have clothes for my dolls. So I used to make paper dolls and have paper dolls and make clothes out of it and draw the things. And some of the things I'm wearing today, I actually drew when I was a child.
Wow.
So it's just, I think that, you know, I cultivated that.
Yes.
And I manifested it into my life. And you can manifest anything into your life if you think about it hard enough, you focus on it, it will come. It's just incredible. But like anything else, you've got to practice. The more you practice, the luckier you get. So I started off just with starting with myself. I made sure that I always dressed for success. You know, people judge you. You don't care what people say. They do judge you by the way you look. And you've got to dress for success every day. And just dress like a successful person. Because if you go to work looking scruffy and raggy, people think that your work will be scruffy and raggy. Whereas if you dress nicely, they think that your work will be nice. We did an experiment at Hirsch's where we had 4 cashiers in a row, and we put makeup on one and left the other 3 without makeup. Every single person went to the one who had makeup on. And we said to them, why did you do that? And they said to us, because we thought that if she had that pride in herself, she would have pride in her work and she would look after us better. So that's how I do a talk actually, which is 100 things you say before you open your mouth.
Yes.
And your dress, your posture, everything about you, the smile on your face. You know, I trained at Disney University in America on customer service. And if you go to Disney, which is one of the biggest employers in the world, as you walk up, there's a one-way mirror. If you're not smiling when you walk up there, you don't even get the interview.
Wow.
You've got to be smiling because people want to work with smiley, happy people.
Because that's what Disney is as well. It's happiness.
But with training of our staff, and we have a very big staff today, everyone is chosen on their attitude. You know, you can train skills, but you can't train attitude. It's so important that people have a good attitude towards themselves, towards life, towards their peers, towards their job. You've got to have a good attitude and everything else will fall into place. If you have a bad attitude, nothing works. We found that out.
That is incredible. It's incredible how, as I'm listening to you, you've taken personality traits and literally translated them into the store.
Yes.
And it actually shows, because even on your social media, which is something I'd like to touch on, I'm always just in awe of how you're getting on the trends and stuff. Is it something that's important to you? Because so many times we know that executives, you know, especially people that are high up in the organization, don't really want to mess with social media. They don't have time. They think it's just petty, frivolous. But with you, I see every single time you are there, you are involved. Is it something that's important?
I think it is important today. It's all about social media. It's getting yourself out there. And I teach women to become influencers, you know. So, I mean, a lot of women, if they don't have any skills, but they need to make money, how do? They become an influencer. So we train women. We have a lot of women empowerment meetings in our stores. We do breakfasts, we do networkings, we do all sorts of things, and that's all to empower women, and we teach them how to become an influencer. Even I work with Mrs. South Africa, and we teach women there to be the best that they can possibly be, so that they have a brand. And I always say to people, you have a brand, whether you make that brand come out or not. Either you make it come out there, or somebody else might do it for you, and it won't be as good. You can obviously do it better yourself. But I can't say I do it myself. I have a team. And like with everything else, it's all about teamwork. You cannot go alone. Today, the world is too big, too fast, and too involved. So I have an amazing team headed up by a chap by the name of Shane Spencer, who's been with me for many years. I've got Kia, who's with me today, and we have a whole team of people, and we work towards that all the time. We look at what's trending, we look at what's up and running, and we make sure that we're out there. With what's trending, whatever it is, and we make fun. It's all about fun. You know, nothing's, oh my gosh, I've got to do this. Oh my gosh, look at this, it's amazing. Let's do it today. Like today I'm having lunch with Mrs. World. So I had my hair curled this morning, and I'm sticking my head in the basin at the hairdresser. By the way, at 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, how do you think I got my hairdresser to come and do my hair at 5 o'clock in the morning? It's very simple. She worked next door to me. She was retrenched. She didn't have a job. So I said to her, she was desperate. She had 2 children. And I said to her, you know what? I know where you live, and you've got a garage at home, haven't you? She said, yes, I have. So I said, hang on. So we went to Builder's Warehouse. We bought 4 mirrors. I took 4 chairs out of Hirsch's. We set it up. Got her hair dry, got us going, and today she's got a thriving business in that same garage, and that's nearly 20 years later.
That is incredible. That is so incredible. You live and breathe empowering other women.
I do it all the time, yes. So I have, you know, we cook a lot at Hirsch's. We're always cooking. We have stoves. So if I have a stove, then the new model comes in. What do I do with the old one? I make sure I give it to one of the ladies out there who's cooking, you know, the scones that they sell at the robots? In the mornings. I give her the stove, we make scones, I show her how to make trays of scones all at once. She gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning, she makes the scones. By 5 o'clock, she's got her brother or her kids or somebody to go and sell them on the corner. And then the next day she's making the next bunch of scones. And those women go from earning nothing to earning a fortune.
To earning something, right?
They make a lot of money.
Margaret, judging from what you're telling me and how you are narrating your story and how you are also interested in other people, I can only imagine that life, as you mentioned, was not easy for you. I can also imagine that you faced, because I know as a woman myself, we may be from different times and different backgrounds, but as a woman who's got fire inside of them, the world wants to crush you. People around want to crush you.
All the time.
How did you manage to just be able to say, you know what, I will still become the Margaret that you are today? Because so many people, so many women are faced with from abuse, you know, gender-based violence, all these things that just keep coming, and one would think, I'll never be the person that I imagine myself to be. How did you overcome? How did you push back?
Well, I think when I married my husband, I was 21, my husband was 24. Our parents didn't want us to get married because we were cross-culture, and they just didn't want us to get married, but I waited till I was 21 so I could get married. When I married my husband at 24, he could not read or write. And he'd gone through his whole school life and only ever passed standard 7. So, but I said to him, there's more to you than this. And I always say to people, when you were born, God put the seed of greatness inside you, and he gave you a gift. And your job in this life is to find your gift. And when you find your gift, your purpose in life is to give it away. So my gift is when I look at anybody, even when I look at you, I don't see you as you are, but I see you as you can be.
Yes.
And you can be so much more than you are. And I could see that in him. And I just knew that he was a clever person, but he just hadn't. And then we didn't even know what dyslexia was in those days. But he was a classic dyslexic.
Yes.
And I taught him to read within about 3 weeks after school had tried for 12 years. How did I do that? I taught him he's very interested in cricket, so I taught him by reading cricket books. And now today he's reading hundreds of books every year.
Wow.
He reads all the time. So I think, we got over those hurdles. And people say, I want to find a rich man. Well, I say, find a man and make him rich. And that's what I did. I found a man and made him rich, and it worked,
And it worked.
So, and it's not easy. I mean, we had a lot of setbacks. I mean,
Yes.
in 1988, we thought we'd made a lot of money. We had 2 million rand in the bank. We had a thriving business. And I got taken by a con man who conned me out of 5 million rand. I lost 5 million rand in one afternoon. Now,
My goodness.
when you have the rug pulled out from under you, I mean, it taken me 10 years to make the 2 million, and I lost 5 million in one afternoon. When you have that rug pulled out from underneath you, you have two options. You can give up or you can get up. And I decided to get up. I thought, well, now we are worse than we ever were.
Yes.
We're 3 million rand in overdraft. What are we going to do? Well, we just have to make it back again. And once you've done it once, you know you can do it again.
Yeah.
And it took me 10 years to make my first million, but it took me less than 1 year to make the second million.
Wow.
So, that's what it is. And we have it all the time. I mean, when we had the riots, our beautiful store in Springfield Park, which had, 40 million rands worth of stock in it, was a beautiful shop, all paid for. The rioters came in and they burnt it to the ground. Now, I could have given up. And all the buildings around us, they gave up. They said, it's going to take you 2 years to come right. And I said, I don't have 2 years. I've got staff to pay. I have bills to pay. I don't have 2 years to wait. So I went in, I called my staff in, and my cashiers painted, my spares manager tiled the floor. We took that burnt down building, we built it up, and we opened in 10 days, and nobody ever thought there'd been a fire in that building.
You just go. What do you attribute this thing that you have? Is it a gift? Is it something that you were born with? Because, like I said, it's really about teaching others to discover themselves. And sometimes people write to me and I don't even know what to say to them because they'll say, I don't know who I am. I don't think I've got that fire. I don't, to have someone like you who just knows exactly what to do is truly, I just want to extract all of the information.
I think they say most people don't get what they want because they don't know what they want. And I'm working with a very powerful woman at the moment. She's a lawyer. She is a fitness fanatic. She's absolutely beautiful. She's got a beautiful husband, 2 beautiful children, lots of money. And she said, I want more. And I said, there is more. Don't think that you shouldn't have more. You can have more. You can have so much more. But you've got to decide what you want. Now tell me what you want. Do you know that she couldn't tell me? She knew she wanted more, but she didn't know. And I think that's what it is. Now, how do you decide what you want? You write your goals down. You have to have goals. You can't hit a target you can't see. So you have to know what you're aiming at. This is what I'm aiming at. I wanted to be the biggest appliance business in South Africa. I became that. What did I want after that? Well, that's when I thought I'll go to America and see what I can do there. So I went to America. I wrote the exam. I became a realtor. I started selling property in America. And that was a challenge to me. I kept setting more challenges for myself all the time, So no matter how high you get up the ladder, you can always set another challenge, do something more. So, and that's what I do. So that's why I live 6 months here and 6 months in America. Here I sell appliances, there I sell property, and I have a wonderful life.
Right? What a mixture. Here I sell appliances and there I sell estates. So there's just no limit as long as your mind is there, it's set, right? Now, you've been married for almost 53 years.
Yes.
We want the code. We need the code. We need the formula, Margaret, because so many people, and I think even more now than ever, especially with young women, it's just like, you know what? I don't want to get married. I don't want to do it. Marriage has got such a bad rap. However, when you're sitting next to someone who's been married for 53 years and they are as confident, as amazing as you are, glowing, happy, then one realizes, okay, there must be something else that maybe we do not know, maybe we do not understand. How have you managed to do it?
Well, I always say your partner will bring you 99% of your happiness or your unhappiness in the world.
Yes.
that your partner is the most important thing. So first of all, you've got to find the right person. Now, I was engaged 4 times before I met my husband.
Okay.
He was my 5th fiance. And in those days, it was very different from today. In those days, especially we were poor.
Yes.
So what happened is, in my matric year, we were 12 girls. 8 got married the first year out of school.
Wow.
I got engaged the first year out of school. And my fiance worked for the South African Railways in those days.
Yes.
And my mother said, you are so lucky you're going to marry him because you're going to have a good pension. And I just went, I don't want this. This is too much. So I ran away. I went to England and I worked there for a couple of years and then I came back and then I met my husband. And with him, it was love at first sight. I just saw him. I didn't even know who I was, but I knew that he was the one.
Yes.
And so I knew where he was going to be the next week. I made sure I was there. And after that, he's still reeling from the shock. He didn't realize what was going to hit him. But I think you've got to find the right person. So my husband is extremely nice and extremely kind.
Wow.
And I think that's what you've got to look for. You've got to look for someone who's really kind. And before we got married, I said to him, I will look after you better than anybody else. And he's the best looked after man in the whole of the world, I can tell you. But in turn, you must look after me better than you look after yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's the thing. Sometimes we're so involved with ourselves, we forget about that person, you know. And you have to be nice. I mean, my husband always comes home, and I always say, men are simple creatures. They want a hot meal and a warm bed. They're very happy. That's what they need.
That's what they need.
And you know, if you just stay on top of things and you just are aware of everything, you're aware that he's happy. You make sure he's happy every day, and I make sure he's happy. He makes sure I'm happy, and it works so well. We're not thinking of ourselves. We're thinking of each other. I put him first all the time,
and he puts you first.
He puts me first all the time.
That's incredible. Yeah. Look for a man with great qualities, kindness, understanding, and communication. Yeah. Margaret, you don't strike me as someone who has fear. Do you ever feel fear?
No, I never feel fear. I honestly don't. I've swum across the top of the Victoria Falls. I've jumped out of aeroplanes. I've bungee jumped. You name it, I've done it. I am not scared of anything because I do believe you can do anything if you want to. I do research it. I know about it. Yes. But at the end of the day, you can do anything that you want to do. When I said I was going to America, people said, America, you can't go there. Yes. You're going to do your realtor's license, you'll never pass. It's so difficult and all that. And I just thought, other people can do it. Why can't I? And I think, you know, that if you just have that knowledge and that confidence in yourself. Yes. And you have to believe in yourself. You know, at Hirsch's we sing every day. And one of the songs we sing is the Honey song, I believe I can, I believe I will. I believe my dreams are real. And if you can do anything, if you put your mind to it, and your mind has to be strong. You can't have a weak mind. You can't, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that, you know. And people, you've got to be specific with your goals. If you say you want something, I wanted a white Porsche Cayenne, diesel, everything. And I put the picture up. I looked at it every day. I saved towards it because I pay cash for everything. Yes. And I got exactly what I wanted. Sure. You know, at the end of the day, you know.
Inspiration. If you're not inspired, I don't know what else you are looking for. I don't know what else you want. Now, you are in your 70s. Yes. Going strong. Yes. Beautiful. What are the secrets? Because Beaumovation is beauty mixed with motivation. Because at the end of the day, as a woman, your beauty has to work from the inside out. There's no point in having all these beautiful things from bags to makeup and everything, but on the inside, you don't even feel like you're somebody or you're worth it. So what are your, I could say, internal or the practices that keep you intact on the inside, which then translates to the outside?
Yeah. So I've got a fantastic hairdresser. I think your hair is the crown you never take off. So today I wanted it curly. Yesterday it was straight. So one day it's up, one day it's down, one day it's black, one day it's white. So I think, you know, you've got to have a really good hairdresser. I have my nails done every 2 weeks. So I think you've got to, you know, you've got to feel good to look good. Yes. But I think the most important thing is to be happy. And I think if you just decide, and it's a decision. Yes. I decided I would be happy every day. I decided every day would be a really good day. I decided that I would give every day my best, and I really pushed the limits. Yesterday I started at 3:30. I got in the morning. 3:30 in the morning. I left home at 4:30 to get the hairdresser by 5 o'clock. I had my hair done. I got to work at 6:30. And at 7 o'clock, I start work every day. I have a meeting with, every day is different. So today was drivers, yesterday was IT, whatever. And then I work with people. And I think you need to be with people. I draw energy out of people and they draw energy from me.
Yes.
And I think working with people makes you happy. It makes me happy anyway. I love to be around people.
Yes.
I love to have fun with people. And I think just working with people and empowering them, making the best they can be by you helping them, they're unbeknown, as you lift other people up, they actually lift you up without you even knowing it.
Wow, incredible. In terms of the business part of it now, we know being a woman in business is hard anywhere in the world. There are challenges. And you are in, I would like to think, what is predominantly a male-dominated space, technology, appliances, How do you put up, do you have maybe a persona or personality to deal with resistance? Or do you have certain principles and rules that one knows that if I'm to engage Margaret, I need to be respectful and see her as an equal and not see her as, just another female or woman?
I'm usually the only woman in the room, in the boardroom, wherever I go, I'm the only woman. And I think you always are a woman, but you have to let men know that you've got to set your own boundaries. There's a book called Boundaries, and I think every woman should read it. You set your own boundaries. This is as far as you can go, and that's it, know. I think you've got to be, people call me pragmatic is the word they use, but I'm very straightforward. I don't beat around the bush. If a man is rude to me, I let him know that it's unacceptable. So I think, and men know how far they can go. They know that that's as far as they can go. They don't speak to me how they want to speak to me. And I let them know as well. And I think with women, we have to take control of a situation. The tea will come in and the lady bringing the tea will normally put it in front of me, but I do pour the tea. I can pour tea. No great shakes. I pour the tea, hand it out, and but then when it comes to something, I say to them, "This is how it's going to be. I believe this is the right way to do things." And I always say, you do the right thing, do things right, everything goes right. The minute you do something wrong, everything goes wrong.
Everything goes wrong.
So just do the right thing and do it right. At Hirsch's, we only have 3 things we ask you for. It's honesty. You have to be completely honest. Once you lie to me, I will never believe you again. I think everybody is like that, whether they know it or not. The second thing is integrity, is doing what you say you're going to do. If I tell you I'm going to phone you back, I will phone you back.
Correct.
I won't just say I'm going to phone you back and get somebody else to phone you back. It doesn't work like that. And the third thing is loyalty. I'm a very loyal person. I've had the same hairdresser for 20 years. And before that, I had the same one for 30 years till he retired. I've had the same husband for 53 years. I live in the same place. I've worked in the same place for 46 years. I'm a very loyal person. And loyalty pays off. Because people know they can trust you. And it's all about trust. People will deal with you. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. They've got to know you. That's why you put yourself out on social media. I've got nothing to hide. My life is an open book. Okay. They've got to trust me. They know I've been in business since 1979. You can't be in business if you're not trustworthy for that length of time. So they know they can trust me. And know, like, and trust. So, and they've got to like you. You've got to be a likable person. You can't be grumpy and miserable and snap at them. I have people phone me at 10 o'clock at night saying, my fridge isn't working. And then I find that the globe is gone and the fridge is working. They phone me at 4 o'clock in the morning, say, I put my washing machine on. It's not working. And I say, did you put the tap on? They say, no, I didn't. So, you can't say, you just have to take it. But you've got to love people to do that.
I love that. I truly love the simple statement you made when you said that loyalty pays off. And I want to reiterate it because we now live in a generation that is superficial, where everything is about what can I get you, or what can I get from you, what can you get from me? Oh, well, if you don't give me that, or if you don't have this social status, you don't belong in my life. Loyalty pays off, but be loyal to the right people. You are in between South Africa, well, you travel all over the world actually, but by structure, you are in between South Africa and America. What is the one thing, or even maybe more, that South Africans don't appreciate about South Africa?
Oh my God, so much, so much. You actually have no idea what a fantastic country this is. And the best thing about this country is its people. Because the people here are so resilient. They are so energetic. They so, you don't realize we can take everything. We take load shedding. We take no water. We get up and bath in a bucket. We
just do it.
We just do it, And we charge our cell phone with the neighbor who's got an EcoFlow or something. I think that whole thing brought us together as a nation so much more. Other people, oh my God, everything is a train smash. Oh, I can't do this because this has happened. We just get on with it. I think, so the biggest difference is our people. We are such an amazing people. The second biggest difference is our food. Our food is so good and so wholesome. We have fresh food, fresh vegetables, fresh meat, fresh chicken, fresh fish.
Fresh everything.
Everything there is pre-packaged. And you've got plastic cheese, plastic meat. It's just absolutely, it's unbelievable the difference. To find proper food is really difficult and very expensive.
Yes.
And I think everything here is so cheap by comparison, you know. I mean, there you pay a fortune, everything, especially with the rand, you pay a fortune for everything. Well, here everything is so cheap. Our clothes are amazing.
Yes.
You know, everything about us. There's no Woolworths there. I mean, that is the thing I miss the most is Woolworths.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. But it's just here we don't realize how lucky we are, and it's only when you go over there. And people want to move countries. I want to tell you, moving countries is absolutely difficult.
Yes.
It really is the most difficult thing I've ever done. It's really, really tough to leave everybody you know behind. You've got to find a new plumber, a new electrician, a new hairdresser, a new dentist, a new pharmacist. I mean, it's really, really difficult. People don't realize. And of course, here we have ladies who help us in the house.
Yes.
There, you got to do everything yourself. You get up in the morning, you got to wash the floors, you got to clean the windows, you got to wash, iron. Cook, clean, do everything, do your own washing. I want to tell you, you don't realize how lucky we are in this country.
So it's all good just to visit and see.
It's lovely to go there. It is really, we have a gorgeous time there. It's a wonderful country, lots to see, beautiful things. But I want to tell you, there's no place like home.
I love that. I love that. And thank you for putting a stamp. Proudly South African. We know that there are women today, which I fully support, even though I am a mother, who say they do not want children. Yes. They don't want to have children. Yeah. Some women still want to have children. Yeah. What has motherhood done for you? And I ask this question because there are people who are still on the fence. Yes. That, you know what, I love children, but looking at how the world is, the way the world is, or how my mind is set up, I don't think I want to have kids. Yeah. But I'm not sure, what does it mean? What does it do for you? Yeah. In your life, in your experience, what has motherhood done for you?
Well, to anybody, I want to tell you, I'm going to swear here, it knocks the shit out of you because you have no idea what you're letting yourself. Oh, I'm going to have a baby. Oh, you're going to have this doll that you're going to put in the cupboard. Well, it doesn't work like that. It's 24/7, 365.
No, it does not.
So I think it grounds everybody. It levels everybody.
Yes.
Because there's level playing fields there. Everybody has the same things. I think it's just, to me, it is the most amazing thing. To me, I built a legacy. Now, if I didn't have children, who would I leave my legacy to? Who would take it on? My children in my business, they've taken over my business now. They're running with everything. And to me, that is my greatest joy and my greatest delight. Your children make you so proud. You know, pride is one of the things that really makes you feel good. So when my son last month was named by Forbes magazine as one of the top CEOs in Africa. Wow. That to me was just amazing. You know, my daughter is the perfect mother. She, she didn't think I was the perfect mother. I thought I was, but she didn't think so. So she has become the perfect mother. She has 3 boys and they are just excelling in everything. I mean, I just had my little one yesterday where he had 6 medals around his neck that he'd won for different things. So to me, your greatest joy and your true wealth is in your children. Yes. What is the point of having all the money in the world in the bank if you've got no one to leave it to? You know, and I have so many friends now who decided not to have children. Yes. And now that they're old, they're by themselves.
What's next? Yeah.
They're by themselves. To me, your children are your true wealth. Yes. That is what life is all about. And you know, when you go back through generations, you know, my husband was born at the end of the Second World War. Yes. People were saying, what on earth are you having children for? You know, this world's a mess. Yes. And his father was born at the end of the First World War. Yes. You know, and people say, what are you having children for? This world is a mess. Well, you know, the world will carry on. Yeah. The world will carry on. And at least you've left your legacy. I have 5 amazing grandchildren who are my pride and joy. They are just the most incredible thing. And I get so much pride out of them. I mean, you could not get that out of anything else. So
I love that.
I'm a great believer in having not a lot of children, just have enough.
Just have enough, right?
That you can cope with. I could never cope with more than 2. Yeah. Even now I can only cope with them 1 at a time. Yeah. But, you know, I think, you know, but you know, your body's your own. You can do what you want with it. But to me, I would not feel complete if I didn't have children.
I love that. I hope that gives you a bit of insight. We're not saying have kids. We're not saying don't have kids. We're just sharing the experience of what having children can do for you. Leveling the playing field, bringing that stability, just enriching your life to a certain extent. Well, of course, until they start screaming and crying, you know, and all the best with that. Now, in terms of moving forward, the future.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you're not stopping anytime soon.
No.
I have a feeling you are going to reach for even greater heights.
Yeah.
What else is Margaret planning to do?
Well, I think my great focus is women empowerment.
Yes.
My very good friend is Melanie Hawken, who runs Lionesses of Africa. She has 1.8 million African women entrepreneurs on her books, and she communicates with us every single day.
Stunning.
So she's such an inspiration to me because of what she does. I think for me now, I always say in life, first of all, you've got to learn. You've got to learn all the lessons.
Yes.
Then you earn, and most people are in the earning stage that are watching this. But at the end of the day, you've got to return. And that's what I do. I return. I work with the Mrs. South Africas, and we mentor people and make sure they become the best they can be. I work with entrepreneurs, and I help them with their businesses and make sure their businesses can grow and flourish. I work with other people now who immigrate to America and have to start out there, and I show them the ropes of what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
So I work with people a lot, and I'm at the stage where I can return now. I can return all my knowledge, because it's going to die with me when I die, you know. I mean, you only I've passed my 70 years and 10 already. So I need to impart that knowledge and help other people. It took me a long time to learn my lessons. Yeah. And now I can teach them in a short space of time. I was very honored to have a fantastic mentor myself. His name was Bob Rickards. What he learned in 40 years, he taught me in 2.
Wow.
That's how I became successful in my business, because he taught me, or he gave me his knowledge, and I end up giving my knowledge to people who ask me for it, yeah.
And that is where you see the power of mentorship, which sometimes we take so lightly.
Yeah.
How do you choose a mentor? Does a mentor choose you? Do you choose a mentor?
They always choose me, and they always say to me, will you be my mentor? And I say, I will, but you've got to work how I work. You can't think that, a lot of people think, will you be my mentor? I'm going to sit back, you're going to do all the work, and I'll reap the glory. It doesn't work like that. I say, I give them chores to do. And 90% of them fall out after the first chore that I give them to do. They don't want to do it.
Wow.
Because it's work,
It's
people
work.
don't like work. What's the 4-letter word that separates winners from losers? The 4-letter word is work.
Yes.
You have to be able to work. So I give them tasks to do and see how they do them. If they put effort into them, I put effort into them. But sometimes they just give me something sloppy back, and I don't try any. If you're not going to try, I'm not going to try. But I help a lot of people with all sorts of different things, from relationship problems to work problems to money problems, and I don't do it for them.
Yeah.
I show them how to do it.
Correct.
Because if somebody shows you how to do it, you can do it the next time.
You're
if I do it for you,
empowered.
the next time you come and say to me, be ready to do it again. Yeah.
100%. What does it take to be Margaret? Because so many people, we live in an age of envy and thinking, oh, she has a better life than myself. Oh, I wish I had that. Oh, I wish I could do that. Not knowing all that takes, everything that it takes, the metaphysical properties, the hard things, the tangible things. What does it take?
Well, I think, first of all, you can't sleep a lot. I don't sleep a lot. I sleep 4 hours a night. And I trained with Tony Robbins in America.
Yes.
He also sleeps 4 hours a night.
Yeah.
Richard Branson sleeps 4 hours a night.
I've already failed that.
So just think, I'm 75 years old. If I'd been asleep for 8 hours a night, I've been asleep for 25 years of my life.
Yes.
So I could never have accomplished as much as I did. When I was studying, when I was doing my MBA, I used to sometimes only sleep for 2 hours a night because I had to work all day, finish my mails, and then I'd start studying and do my assignments. Sometimes, so you can't sleep a lot. You have to be awake and on the ball all the time.
All the time.
I think you've got to be curious. You've got to be a curious person. I'm very curious. Something happens. I want to know what happened. You know, how did that happen? What, So you have to be very curious. And I think you've got to have a lot of energy. And how do you get that? You get that from food. So I'm vegan, so I don't eat meat, chicken, fish, eggs, milk.
Wow,
cheese, nothing like that.
It makes perfect sense, yes.
So I only eat vegetables and fruit, and it gives you lots of energy. If you're putting live food into a live body, you have life. Yes. You're putting dead food into a live body,
Of course,
You
your
know,
body.
so I think firstly you've got to eat really, really well if you want to be healthy. You've got to be healthy. You're not going to be the richest person in the graveyard. So your health is your wealth at the end of the day. So you know, this is the vessel that God gave you. You've got to look after it.
Right.
You've got to exercise. You know, there's nothing worse than being old and tired. Oh my God, I can't walk up the stairs. You know, I mean, a lot of my friends who are my age, I say, oh, we're going on a cruise to India. Do you want to come? And they say, I'd love to come, Margaret. I've got the money and everything, but I can't put one foot in front of another. You know, so you've got to be healthy. You've got to exercise. I think that's really, really important. As I said to you also, your partner will bring you 99% of your happiness or your unhappiness. And I do believe that human beings, we need a partner.
Yes.
You need somebody to share
Human
your life
connection.
with. It's no good having a wonderful life you've got no one to share it with. So you've got to have, and you've got to give and take in that life as well. So it teaches you to give and take. I think the next thing is your family. You know, some people have family that just pull them down. So my brother was an alcoholic, and he was just pulling us down all the time, and he was in rehab, and we were paying for it. And eventually I said to my mother, I'm not doing this anymore. She said, you can't, he's your brother, it's your flesh and blood. And I said, I'm not doing this anymore.
Boundaries.
So guess what happened? He found a new wife who looked after him and nursed him until he died. And we didn't have that worry anymore. So sometimes you've got to let some of your family go before you can move on.
Correct.
And then the next thing is money. People don't like to speak. In my house, we never said the word money. Money. You didn't speak about it. Money, you know.
Yes.
But if you can't say the word, you can't have it.
Yeah.
So you need three things in life: water, oxygen, and money. You've got those three things, you find. You haven't got one of those, you're in big trouble.
Yes.
So, you know, you need to make money and to have a lot of money to be financially independent, which is really, really important. I think you've got to have a fantastic job. Your job has to be amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing, so that you enjoy every minute of it. So you have a job and then you have a career. You've got to turn your job into a career.
Yes.
Okay. And then I think it's very important to have nice things around you. You know, some people think it's rude to have a fancy house, a nice car. To me, it's really important. You've got to have nice things around you. You feel nice. If you have really grotty things around you, you feel grotty. It's a simple thing. And then I think the other most important thing is to your spiritual life. You have to know that there is somebody, whether you pray to God, Buddha, Allah, Rama, Krishna, Jehovah. You've got to have somebody that you know you're not working this journey on your own.
Yes.
You know? And I think the last thing is you've got to give back to charity. You have to help other people. You know, there's so many people that need help, especially in Africa.
Yeah.
Especially in Africa. You know, a simple thing like in America, when I always clean my cupboard out, I get rid of all the old things I don't want.
Yes.
America, there's no one to give them to. Yeah, everybody, oh my God, I'll have it, Margaret, give me that suitcase.
Yes. Yeah, because also there's no like that crazy sense of pride. People are not too proud to say, you know what, I'd like to have that.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
I love all those principles. I think I will have to watch this very episode over and over to write down and get all the nuggets that you have. If we take it back to that back room that you told us about. 10-year-old Margaret.
Yes.
Whose father had passed away, surrounded by sadness and sorrow. And we take the Margaret you see today. What would she, present day Margaret, say to 10-year-old Margaret?
I would say exactly what I thought at that time. You know what?
Yeah.
If other people can do this, you can do it too. And I think that must be your mantra. If other people can have what you want, do what you want, be what you want, you can do this. And all you have to do is focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. Don't let excuses get in your way. Get rid of all the excuses that you can put up. Oh, I'm not well, this is wrong. No, forget that, you know. Nobody wants to be around the sick, lame, and lazy. You want to be that person who goes out there, makes it happen, gets it done. You want to be the life and soul of the party.
Yes.
And you just have the best life ever.
Oh, an absolute honor. I am energized. Margaret, thank you so much. You've literally given me every single thing that I know my audience and myself will definitely enjoy, because like I said, Bemovation is about empowering the mind, because once you believe it, like you said, in your mind, then you can live it, you can manifest it. We truly appreciate you, and thank you again for making the time out of your busy schedule. Guys, when I kid you not that this appointment, this interview was set up months back. That's how busy Margaret is. So if someone is making an excuse about how busy they are, they just don't want to do it, because she made it, and I'm absolutely honored. In terms of mentorship programs, if there are people out there who are interested in finding out how they can be part of it, part of the work that you do, the mentorship, can you share information with us?
Oh yeah, I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm Margaret Hirsch, South Africa. And they can email me, margaret@hirsches.co.za. Everything's out there on my profile. Even my cell phone number is out there. Don't phone me because I'm often in meetings, but you can WhatsApp me anytime. And but don't do it unless you want to put in the work, because I'm not going to do it for you. You have to be able to do it for yourself.
And she really means it, because I reached out to her for an interview on social media, and she responded, and we made it happen, right? Thank you again, Margaret.
Thank you
for your time. This is Bemovation episode 1. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your papa, tell your ex to watch the Bemovation podcast so that they can be a better person. Until next time, thank you, and remember to always, always love yourself.